Welcome to Alpha Coding Podcast, an all-access pass to medical coding and billing pro tips that help you start your week off smarter. And now, here is your host, Toni Elhoms.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alpha Coding Podcast series. I am your host, Toni Elhoms. Welcome to episode 5 of the podcast. Today is February 3rd, the first Monday of a brand new month, and one of my goals for 2020 was to read a new book each month. So I just finished up High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard, which was a fantastic read, and now I'm reading Start With Why by Simon Sinek. He's one of my favorite authors and speakers. His content is next level. It's just so amazing. It's packed with so much good personal development tidbits. And if you're not familiar with his work, be sure to check it out. Our topic for today is going to cover my top pro tips for a successful mentor-mentee relationship. And this is going to be really valuable, especially for people that are looking for a mentor and maybe you want to be a mentor. And so there's going to be some great pro tips in there to maximize the mentor-mentee relationship and the value of what it can do for you. Before we dive into my pro tips, it's time for your Monday dose of positivity, the Mindset Monday tip. And it's brought to you by Clara. Clara is a holistic, secure communication platform that reduces overhead costs to increase your bottom line. It automates day-to-day tasks like follow-ups and reminders, so your staff can focus on giving patients the exceptional experience they deserve. Mention my code ALPHACODING for 10% off. Visit clara.com for more information. Our Mindset Monday tip is all about the power of hard work and eliminating excuses. As many of you know, we experienced a terrible loss this week with Kobe Bryant and his daughter. It's just devastating, and I wanted to feature one of his quotes in our tip today because his story is so inspiring. There's no one that worked harder than Kobe Bryant. So he said, "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses. Hard work works." And Kobe Bryant was one of the best examples of that. His legacy is going to live on forever. Our topic for today is going to focus on the power of mentorship and how to approach these relationships that can be an invaluable asset to your career. My business coach and mentor, Terry Fletcher, has been a huge part of my success. She has 30 plus years of business experience, and what she has shared with me through her coaching and her knowledge has allowed me to accelerate in my career and elevate my business as an entrepreneur. Her podcast, the Codecast Podcast, which drops new episodes every Tuesday, has been hugely successful with over 100,000 downloads. I studied my mentor before I chose her, and she has absolutely made the biggest impact in my business and my success. And so that's why I wanted to share this example with you, because the power of a mentor can make such a difference in the pace at which you advance and accelerate in your career. She'll actually be coming on the show in a few weeks, and I'm really excited to interview her and have her share some of her insights with you. So this brings me to my pro tip number 1. Choose the right mentor for your unique goals. Your goals are unique to your own situation. And so that's why it's so important to do your research and to really study who would be a good mentor for your unique circumstance. And the reason why I share my own personal experience is because Terry Fletcher has a hugely successful business podcast. She's an author, speaker. And so for me, that was what I ultimately wanted for my career and my success. And so that was one of the reasons why I chose Terry Fletcher as my business coach and mentor. And so what you want and what your circumstances are may be very different, and that's perfectly fine. The first key to a successful mentor-mentee relationship is making sure that you have the right mentor. And maybe you have to go through a few mentors before you get to the right one that really clicks for you and helps elevate you in your career. I've had many mentors over my career, and mentors can change depending on the season of where you're at in your life and your career. So that's why it's really important to do your research. And also, if you are looking to be a mentor to someone and take on a mentee, it's important that you have a good chemistry and good synergy, because in order for that relationship to be effective, you want to make sure that you can give the person that you're mentoring really great direction on their unique circumstances and really pour into them based on where they're at, because you remember being in that same situation. As a mentor, you want to be that person that says, hey, I've stood in your shoes and this is what worked best for me. And as a mentee, that advice is invaluable because it's basically hindsight 2020. The information that they're giving you is something that they have personally went through or experienced, and they can give you insight as to what worked best for them and how they navigated through that particular season of their career. I have had the privilege of mentoring many individuals throughout my career, and there is nothing more rewarding than seeing your mentee progress and advance and develop and grow in their career. And there's just nothing more rewarding than that. And so if you get the opportunity to be a mentor to someone, go for it and put your entire heart into it, because you have the power to make a difference in someone's life and change the entire trajectory of their future and their family's future. And this brings me to my pro tip number 2. Respect your mentor's expertise. So it's very possible that your mentor is going to be in a different season of their career. They're going to be more advanced. They're going to be more successful, which is why you've asked them to take you on as a mentee. Respect their expertise. What they're telling you and the advice that they're giving you is to ultimately help you. And so if you are not good with constructive criticism or taking feedback that may not be positive, you have to get over that in order to make this a successful navigation tool for your career. So it's important to check your ego and really be humble and open to constructive criticism and feedback, and understand that it's coming from a good place, and what you thought was your best may actually not be your best. You can do more. And you need someone to push you and really pull that out of you. And that is one of the many benefits of having a mentor. And this is where I see a lot of folks go wrong, because they get this idea in their head that they know it all and they're the best at everything that they do. And anytime they get constructive criticism or feedback that they don't agree with, they take it personally. And it really is just a way to get an outside perspective on how you are perceived. So use the feedback as an opportunity to make improvements and respect your mentor's expertise. And this brings me to my pro tip number 3. Respect your mentor's time. Time is life's most precious commodity, and we all have the same amount of time in a day. We have 24 hours. So you have to be mindful that this person is taking time away from their career, their family, and their responsibilities so that they can pour into you and give you direction and feedback on how to advance in your career. Respecting and acknowledging that goes a long way in the relationship. Mentorship is oftentimes a voluntary role, and so you have to keep that in the back of your mind. Don't ask the same questions over and over. Take good notes. Make sure that you're maximizing all of your time with your mentor and not asking them to repeat themselves. And make sure that you're fully prepared each time you meet with them and you've thought about all of the questions you want to ask and have clear objectives and goals for each encounter. Also, make sure you're not asking them questions that you could easily answer with a Google search. In today's digital age, we have access to more information. So the types of questions you're asking your mentor are really questions that you want to make sure are unique to your circumstances. and they're not things that you could easily find on Google. The questions you ask say a lot about your goals and your core values and really how intrinsically motivated you are to succeed. And they can be a good gauge as to whether the mentor thinks this is a valuable investment of their time. So as a mentee, you want to make sure you put a lot of thought and preparation into all of the encounters you have with your mentor. Also, send them a thank you card and let them know how much you appreciate their time. A handwritten thank you card goes a long way with people, especially nowadays when it's so hard to get someone on the phone. That personal touch can be so impactful. So never underestimate the power of a handwritten thank you note. And this brings me to my pro tip number 4. Humility is gold. In today's society, there is a lot of entitlement, way too much. This sense of entitlement that you are entitled to overnight success, or you're entitled to a handout, or you're entitled to a shortcut. And that's just not how it works. A sense of entitlement will not get you very far, especially in the mentor-mentee dynamic. You are not entitled to anyone's time. And having a mentor or being a mentor is a privilege, and it's something that should not be taken lightly. When you ask someone to be your mentor, you're asking them for a huge commitment. And you want to keep that in the back of your mind constantly. This is a commitment, just like any relationship that you have, whether it be a working relationship, a friendship, or a marriage. It's a relationship that requires energy, time, focus. And so you have to be cognizant of that. So if you've approached someone about being your mentor and they have declined the request, don't take it personally. It's not personal. You just never know what is going on in someone's life, and maybe they're not in a position to take this on today. And so you just never know, and that could always change in the future. And just because this person says no doesn't mean that the next person will. So you don't want to get discouraged. You want to stay persistent and stay positive, and just keep in the back of your mind, a good mentor really looks at this as a long-term commitment and relationship. So be humble and be grateful. Also, when you approach someone about being your mentor, please avoid using the phrase, "I'd like to pick your brain." This phrase drives me crazy, and I know a lot of other people feel the same. So this is just too open-ended, and it makes the person that you're approaching think that you're going to take a massive amount of their time, and you don't have any direction or idea as to the direction you want to go and how to navigate this mentor-mentee relationship. So whatever you do, do not use the phrase, "I'd like to pick your brain," in the context of a mentor relationship. And this brings me to my pro tip number 5. Remember the golden rule of reciprocity. So you want to constantly look for ways to reciprocate and always look for ways to make your mentor-mentee relationship mutually beneficial and valuable. This pays dividends over the long term of the relationship, and I cannot stress enough how important this is. Reciprocate. This applies to life and business and your career. You want to look for ways to make each relationship mutually beneficial. So while your mentor may be giving you specific career advice on how you can elevate and advance in your career, you may be able to provide value and reciprocate to them by supporting their book or their show or their initiative or their new project, or even writing them a recommendation on LinkedIn or a recommendation letter, letting people know how much this person has given you in terms of insight and wisdom, and how they've ultimately helped elevate you and your career. Every single person has the opportunity to provide value and reciprocate and encourage other people and build them up so that other people can see what they're doing and how they're impacting the community, and that just boosts them and elevates them. So never underestimate the power of a thank you or a recommendation. That can be your way to reciprocate and show the person that is giving you mentorship that you care for them and you want to reciprocate and really value and acknowledge their contributions to your success. So just to summarize, my top 5 pro tips for a successful mentor-mentee relationship. Number 1, choose the right mentor for your unique goals. Number 2, respect your mentor's expertise. Number 3, respect your mentor's time. Number 4, humility is gold. Number 5, remember the golden rule of reciprocity. Which reminds me, if you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button now so you never miss another episode. Also, please feel free to rate us, drop a comment. We really appreciate your support. So this concludes today's episode on my top pro tips for a successful mentor-mentee relationship. I hope that these tips will be useful to you as you engage your next mentor. And I hope that you'll join me next Monday. But until next week, thank you for listening to Alpha Coding Podcast. We'll see you next Monday.
For more information about medical coding and billing pro tips, including how to hire alpha coding experts, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or visit our website at www.alphacodingexperts.com.